First item on the agenda is the pledge. Please join us. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It can be noted for the record that all members of the council are present this evening. We do have one addition to tonight's agenda, which is a conditional use permit. With that, are there any other additions or deletions from council? Seeing none, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move.
Motion by Councilor Kaler. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Buller. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Thank you. Next on the agenda, minutes from the previous meeting, Monday, March 17th, 2025. Chair would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Councilor Wagner. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Buller. Any discussion? Or, I'm sorry.
Holden.
Excuse me. Councilor Holden for the record. Is there any discussion?
Oh, somebody up here.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Next on the agenda, payments and claims and approval for payments of account payable. Transfers from the lodging tax fund to our general fund of $875.99 for total transfers. Accounts payable and claims, City of International Falls, $526,369.35. Airport Commission claims, $42,000, $717.76. And Airport Major Capital Project claims, $24,645, no cents. Total accounts payable and claims, $593,732.11. Unless there's discussion, the mayor would entertain a motion to approve these claims.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Councilor Holden. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Wagner. Is there any discussion on these payments and claims? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, starting with Councilor Kaler.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
I'll vote yes. Payment of claims passes 5-0. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to audience, open forum, and opportunity if anyone would like to come forward and address the council. Time limit is 5 minutes unless extra time is granted by the council. Superintendent DeGrosse.
Thank you very much. My name is Bob DeGrosse. I'm Superintendent of Voyageurs National Park, and we're headquartered at 360 Highway 11 East in International Falls. And I know today on the agenda you have a proclamation that's going to be considered by the board or the council to recognize tomorrow, April 8th, 2025, as the 50th anniversary of Voyageurs National Park and recognizing it as Voyageurs National Park Day. And I just appreciate your consideration for this, and I hope, of course, that it passes. I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow, if you haven't seen the news about our 50th anniversary, in recognition of the actual day that the park was dedicated 50 years ago on April 8th, we will have an open house at the headquarters from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, where we'll be giving tours of our collections management area and everything like that. So if you're able to come out, we encourage people to come out and join us for that. I believe we're going to have birthday cake there as well. Also, I just want to mention that in collaboration with the Voyageurs Conservancy, we will be hosting a variety of different events throughout the entire year. One of the major culminations is going to be the grand opening of the Crane Lake Visitor Center in the southeast end of the park on June 6th and things. And then there's a variety of things that are going to be taking place at all of the gateway areas of the park through the year. But just wanted to share my appreciation for you considering the proclamation, and also take any questions that you might have for me.
Well, thank you. Question, you're retiring soon.
I am,
What's
yes.
the date?
It's the end of May. End of May, I will be retiring after 8 years of being here in the community and as the superintendent of the park. And I'm planning on staying in the community and enjoying the water probably more in the summers once I retire than what I was able to do as the superintendent and everything. So, yeah.
Wonderful. I just really want to take the opportunity to thank you. Bob and I have known each other for quite a while, and we've probably had a couple big go-arounds at one
Sometimes,
point.
yeah.
But you've been a good thing for our park. There's been a lot of superintendents that have taken on a lot of interesting things locally.
Yeah.
And we're thankful that you've been our superintendent, along with all the other things that it brings to the community.
Well, I appreciate that very much, and thank you for your time today.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. Do I have to tell who I am, or do you know who I am by now?
For the record, please.
Rhonda Benedicts, 909 6th Street, International Falls, Minnesota. So I'm going to start with the committee of the whole meeting that you had last. Ed Bates recorded it. I listened to it. I wasn't here at your last city council meeting. I was sick with influenza. So I'm going to say that I think that that meeting kind of was about me. There was an emphasis on rules of conduct for the citizens. A huge push was that the meeting lasted, the meeting before that, the one that I wasn't at, but the one before that, where I confronted the city council. A huge push was on the 5-minute rule. At the meeting that I was at, that I confronted the city council for the R word and the C word, I was being tried to be kicked off the mic for the 5-minute rule when I was trying to defend myself, which was astonishing in itself. I think that I had the right to be up here to defend myself. And I was being extremely hard trying to be kicked off the mic, which I think I had every right to defend myself. Okay? I also, on this committee of the whole meeting, was brought up that we can't have coming up to the mic and starting out with profanity. We just can't have that. Is that what I did? I just came to the mic and started throwing out profanity? Is that what I did? Because I didn't. I came up here and I started off with, I've been in this town, I've lived in this town my whole life. It was only the second time I've ever been to a city council meeting. And I started out with what was said about me. I repeated what was said about me by a city council member. I didn't just come up here and start nilly-willy throwing out profanity. I repeated what was said to me, about me, from a city council member. So clearly that's not the big issue, a city council member calling me a cunt. Clearly it's a huge issue that I came up and said the profanity word, not that it was said about me from a city council member, but I repeated it. That was the big issue. So now at the committee of the whole meeting, it was a huge issue that you're going to enforce the rule that people just can't come up to the mic and start throwing out profanity. So you're going to enforce that rule of conduct, that we just can't start throwing out profanity, right? Isn't that what was said? And that apparently I didn't have the right to be upset. And if people get out of control, you're going to have the police kick you out. Really? So being called retard and the C-U-N-T word, the citizens don't have a right to be upset about that. We don't have a right to come up here and be upset. So you're going to kick us out with police if we get so out of control for being upset? Really? That's the rules of conduct you're going to enforce? And that we can't single out a member who called us those words? How dare we? How dare we? We have to talk to you as a whole, huh? So, being nobody stood up and took ownership of that as a single person, and we can't point fingers, and we can't zero in on Pete, was the exact words you used in the committee of the whole meeting. We have to talk to you as a council, as a whole, and not the whole entire city council did not reprimand that certain city council member. I mean, you want me to talk to you as a whole, so then basically I say the whole city council as a whole should take ownership of that city council member that did that. Then you're all to blame. You want to sit there and punish us, and you want to basically push the rules of conduct. You're gonna push the rules of conduct on us and enforce them. Nobody can talk more than 5 minutes. Can't have that. Can't have the meeting that everybody came up and talked. Everybody had lots to say at that meeting. Can't single out a city council member, even though he called me a C-U-N-T. I can't come up here and confront him.
Ms. Benedicts?
I'm speaking, it's my 5 minutes.
I'm sorry. Bear with me, please. It has been 5 minutes. It's my wish that you can continue, but I cannot override the council. I don't have that authority. So it's up to the council if they would like you to continue or not, and that's the proper
Sure.
decorum. So I
Yep.
have to ask the council what your wishes are.
I have no issue.
Please continue.
Thank you. These are not only insulting that you are going to have a committee of the whole meeting and you talk about enforcing these rules, it's concerning. You have no respect for the people if that's what you're going to do. If you're not going to follow your own code of conduct rules, but because I got upset and came up here to defend myself and my honor, and you don't follow your own code of conduct rules. You're elected officials, but you don't think that you have consequences? That shows you have no honor or integrity. It's hypocritical, is what it is. Absolutely hypocritical. The citizens have lost faith and trust in you, and to be honest, it's downright disgusting. Thank you for your time. I'm done.
you.
Absolutely done.
Good evening.
Nancy Imhoff, my business is at 339 3rd Street, International Falls. I just was wondering if anybody has been in contact with Jim Lukacek or if any further progress has been made on the Bandshell project. I think Betty said last time the insurance, they were meeting with the insurance that week or whatever. I'm just kind of wondering what the status of that project is and if.
It's okay if I talk, Betty? I did contact Jim. I spent time with him on the phone,
Okay.
and he He's excited. He's not gonna charge
Right,
International Falls a nickel.
right.
And as soon as we get moving on this, we're gonna be using Jim, so.
Any idea when that might be?
Not for sure. It's coming, and it could be within short time.
I hope so.
Yeah, so we all do too, Nancy,
Yeah.
we do.
Construction season is just around the
I
corner.
had a really good visit with him, so.
Yeah, well, I think it was just amazing that he offered
Yeah.
that, and I would, as a council member, would have jumped all over that, so I'm glad to hear that you
Yeah.
talked to him, and hopefully we can see some progress on that not-so-great-looking Bandshell in the near future.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Is-
Yeah.
One second while you're up, if you don't mind. Betty, is there a Bandshell update on your end? I know you are working on it, not intentionally putting you on the spot.
No, that's fine, Mayor, thank you. I did speak with our adjuster last week, and he indicated that he and his supervisor have hired another firm to look at this project, and they were starting on it today, and their time frame was 2 to 3 weeks before we would hear back again. So they're working on it, but it unfortunately is gonna be an additional 2 to 3 weeks before I know anymore.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Good evening.
Ed Bates, 108 Riverview Boulevard. Whether you believe it or not, this recall process is not something that I really wanted to do. I have here complete amounts for each of the 3 wards that I'm prepared to turn into Betty. It's not something that I want to do. I really, it's important that you understand that. This process is not easy on a community. It's designed that way. It tests the people against what they really want. So on this list, you're gonna find people that signed that you might be friends with or have done business with or, you know, have hung out with, properties, neighbors. I guess I'm asking that you don't make me turn them in. My preference would be that you resign, because if I turn them in, you're gonna read them. And if you read them, human nature is that you're going to lash out at those people. That's just the way it goes. I know it, you know it. And if you make me do it, I would caution you not to take it personally. It's not personal. These people took a look at this and said, we disagree with your politics. We disagree with the direction that we're headed. That doesn't speak to you as a person. And I would hope that you understand that. So I'm gonna wait till the end of the meeting before I turn them into Betty. But I'd really, really prefer that you didn't make me. Thanks.
Mr. Hardwig.
Hi, Mayor Dill, councilors. I came here tonight,
Can you state your name and address for the record?
my name is Jeff Hardwig, and address is 2593 County Road 103.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So I came here tonight to make sure that the council was aware of the status of our Voyageurs National Park. It has a dark sky designation from Dark Sky International. Communities that have such a designation reap very big benefits from astrotourism, and that's not a potential future thing, that's happening right now. One of our local businesses, Voyagers Outfitters, had over 50 people from out of town, many of them from out of state, use his business, and they went on a walking tour of the night sky out at the boarded walkway. So we take it for granted, but if you've ever seen a display of northern lights, you get a sense of awe. You can see on a dark night, you can see the Milky Way. And we take it for granted, but it's a marvelous thing, and people travel to see this here. 4 out of 5 people in our nation never see the Milky Way. So it's a great thing. It's a boon to our community. And it's also something that can be taken away if light pollution drowns out the night sky. And that the light in our country is increasing at 10% a year, so it's worth protecting. So April 21st through 28th is designated as Dark Sky Week. And it would be a very cool thing if this council were to make a proclamation just designating April 21 through 28 as Dark Sky Week. Mayor Wagner of Rainier has signed a proclamation. Mayor Andrew Halikas from Fort Francis has signed a proclamation. And it's also kind of cool that we could have a cross-border decision to do something positive and cooperative between our two countries. So the mayor has a sample copy of this proclamation, and I'm very much hoping that you could see a way to join the other mayors in town and have a regional proclamation of Dark Sky Week. It doesn't cost you anything, and it could help the community. If there's any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm sure that we'll be in touch as we visit often. We do not have a public hearing this evening or the letting of any bids.
Mayor? Mayor?
I guess Russ Nagel from International Falls, 611 10th Street. A couple of things, I don't know if I'm in the right thing. You have action items here. Can I address them before you have the action items? Like,
Yes, you can address.
Okay, so I'm looking at the grant for the airport. I'm just interested, how much is it? Do we know the resolution?
Well, Kyra Hasbargen, who's the commission secretary,
Okay.
is here, so she would be the most logical person to speak to that.
What is your question?
So you have here, airport improvement grant agreement for state project for the airport, right? I'm just wondering what that grant is, what is the amount? What are we at, what are we requesting?
The grant is for terminal improvements of the CDP section of the airport. It's an annual or semi-annual, every 5 years we have to update the equipment in the CDP area. And so this grant, typically we don't get a grant for that type of improvement. However, the state is giving us a grant to do that. The total amount of the grant is, the state portion is roughly $70,000 and the local share would be roughly $30,000. The airport does budget for that amount on an annual basis.
Okay,
So
thanks.
there's money in the budget to cover the local share.
All right, now this next question's for, I think, Ted. The advertising for bids for the Ninth Street project. Can you tell me what the Ninth Street project is?
It's complete reconstruction, water and sewer replacement, street lighting, complete reconstruction,
Ninth Street from all the way from where to where?
from 3rd Avenue to 11th Avenue.
And is there a bike trail in that proposal?
There's a bituminous trail rather than a sidewalk on one side,
On one side, no sidewalk.
right?
Okay. And the last one, I guess, is to Adam, the state grant for agreement between the Commissioner of Natural Resources and International Falls Fire Department. That's a grant. What's that amount that we're asking for?
I have two items. Which number are you referencing?
Number 7.
Number 7? That's a 50/50 grant. We get that every other year. So it's for $5,000. We pay $2,500. They pay $2,500 on wildland firefighting gear.
Okay. That's about all I wanted to say. The other thing is, last week you voted down the $1 million grant for improvement over at Cary Park and that. Just have to realize that if you would have voted that in, and then somebody would have had to come and do work. Somebody would have had to do something to improve that, make that process go. That's economic development. That's what we're here for, is economic development. That guy came in and worked 6 months. They spent the $1 million. We didn't do anything with it. They were still here working. Remember that when we do make these decisions, that once that's gone, it's not coming back. It's not going to your public water system or anything. It's not coming back.
Mr. Nagel, I want to touch on Cary Park. I'm not aware of $1 million that we spent.
Well, the wellness center, I'm sorry.
Right.
Cary Park Wellness Center. The wellness center was by itself, I guess. I'm saying wellness center.
Is what we were awarded through state bonding was $1 million, Betty, I believe in the form of a reimbursement grant, that the design and pre-engineering was reimbursable up to $1 million. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so yes, the council did vote to not proceed with that.
It wasn't said reimbursable as far as I know on your, it said you were getting the money, it wasn't reimbursed. Okay, that's a mute.
That's why I wanted to clarify it. So.
All right, thanks.
Okay, I don't see anyone else that would like to speak at this time. We do not have a public hearing letting of bids, old business, or a consent agenda. So we will move on to new business. Number 1, which is a mayoral proclamation proclaiming tomorrow as Voyageurs National Park Day, celebrating Voyageurs National Park 50th anniversary. The mayor would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Councilor Holden. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Buller. Any discussion? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'll vote yes. This proclamation carries 5-0. Thank you. Number 2, consider use of Cary Park Arena for a community bike rodeo, May 17th, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Chief Koscheck, is this something you'd like to speak to?
I can if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. The mayor would entertain a motion to approve this usage of the community center.
I'll move.
Motion by Councilor Buller. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Kaler. Any discussion, questions? Call the question.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'll vote yes. Usage is approved 5-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda, number 3, adopt resolution, airport improvement grant agreement for state project number A3601-124. Mayor would entertain a motion to approve the grant.
To approve.
Motion
Second.
by Councilor Buller, second by Councilor Holden. Any discussion? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'll abstain. Motion carries 4-0 with an abstention. Thank you. New business 4, Public Works Committee recommendations. A, approve advertising for bids for the 9th Street project, including the 5th and 6th Street lead service line project. Would the council like to approve these individually? I'm going to make that decision. Chair would entertain a motion to approve advertising for these bids.
That's one.
for item A. I'm
Oh, item A, okay.
Excuse me.
No.
I caught myself.
I'll move either way.
A motion by Counselor Kaler,
Second.
second by Counselor Buller. Is there any discussion? I have a question for Betty. If the bids come back and we don't think they're favorable, we have options, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. B, approve advertising for bids for the capital improvement program for mill and overlay in Stenberg Edition and the city parking lots, which I believe is behind City Hall and the library.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Counselor Buller to approve this. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Wagner. Is there any discussion? No, this money was budgeted last year for both purposes. Call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes. This carries 5-0. Thank you. Number 5, new business. Approve hiring 10 summer employees for the Public Works Department as presented.
I'll move.
Motion by Counselor Kaler,
Second.
second by Counselor Buller. Any discussion? Question?
Aye.
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 I will vote yes. Motion is approved, 5-0. Thank you. Number 6, approve cooperative fire protection agreement for wildland fires between the Minnesota DNR and the International Falls Fire Department and authorize signatures.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion to approve this agreement by Counselor Holden,
Second.
second by Counselor Wagner. Discussion or questions? I believe that this was already touched on earlier. Call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes. Is approved, 5-0. Thank you. Number 7, new business, approve State of Minnesota grant agreement, federal subaward agreement between Commissioner of Natural Resources and the International Falls Fire Department. Entertain a motion to approve this grant.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Counselor Holden. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Counselor Buller. Discussion on the grant. Call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes. Grant is approved, 5-0. Thank you. 8A, this was an addition from the Planning Commission to approve conditional use permit for home occupation for apparel printing and embroidery for Hasbargen Customs LLC, 806 11th Street. Mayor would entertain a motion to approve this CUP.
So move.
Motion by Counselor Buller. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Holden. Discussion or questions? Call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes. This conditional use permit is approved. 5-0 vote. Thank you. Any other business that the council has to come before? We do have, I'll use this time for a legislative report from our current lobbyist, Rob Eklund of Capitol Hill Associates. There are 3 things. One, the North Cooch Sewer District has a bill that's passed both the House and Senate. This has been worked on quite some time to change the makeup of the board due to the language when it was created. On Wednesday, March 26th, Councilor Wagner and myself We're in St. Paul. We met with 9 members of capital investment committees to explain the city's ask through Minnesota Management and Budget, which is bonding over the water plant, where we have $4.8 million ask. On April 3rd, the bill in the House that we had made appointments to support got a hearing. And Sean Kelly, who's the head water plant or lead water plant operator, and I both testified in front of the House Capital Investment Committee, and we will keep the community abreast of any progress. Moving on to reports, boards, committees, and department heads, administrator, attorney, and department heads. See no reports at this time. The fire EMS report, which is monthly, is in the packet. Reports from the council, boards, commissions, committees. Seeing none, we move back to audience open forum.
My question, do I have to submit these?
Yep. Yep.
There you go, Benny.
Great. Thank you.
Do I have to introduce myself again, or?
No, you do not.
Okay. I have a question regarding this 4A on the 9th Street project. Maybe I missed something, I don't know much about this project. Can somebody explain exactly what that is? And with this bike trail, what's the reasoning behind a bike trail down 9th Street? Just what's all involved in this project?
I feel like that Councilor Kaler and I could explain it to a T, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Mr. Brokaw, who's our Public Works Director, come
Sure.
forward, if you'd be comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable, sure.
I was asking Ted. Ted, if you could, please.
Do you want me to come up or?
Yeah, sure, please.
A lot of the purpose of the bituminous trail is cost. It's cheaper to put an 8-foot bituminous trail than it is to put 2 sidewalks down. Part of that was us being able to get a $1.5 million grant for local road improvement. As part of it, MnDOT with the complete streets design it met their criteria for us to get that fund. So comes down to concrete on both sides, ADA, it's for cost.
Okay. So how is that gonna look? So you're turning, it's a one-way right now,
No,
right?
yes, it is a one-way right
So
now.
you're turning it into a two-way?
Yep,
So how is that gonna look compared, so is there a sidewalk on one side and a bike trail on another? Or
no,
how-
there's a multi-use bituminous trail on the north side. There'll be two-way traffic, curb and gutter, a boulevard, and a bituminous trail, just like a sidewalk, but out of bituminous.
What is that?
Blacktop,
Okay.
pavement.
Okay. Are you just
Mrs.
wondering-
Bergstrom,
If
please.
I can add to, that's going to connect the current bituminous trail on 53 right now. And the idea of that is connecting it to the other end of town, going that way, the other end of town. So then that will hook up to sidewalks and other areas on the west end of town to circle and have accessibility throughout the community. It's part of that as well.
And I will add that part of, you will see 1171 being reconstructed in 2029 from 332, most likely all the way through to Second Avenue, which their plan is to also have a bituminous trail that connects from the high school to the downtown. So the eventual goal is to attach the two.
Okay. And so then, am I correct, are you saying that it's less cost to do the bike trail on one side than two sidewalks?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Also included in that project is the deadline removals.
Yep. Lead service
So-
lines, water, sewer, street lighting,
Yeah.
curb and gutter. It's one of the oldest roads we have in town. It's never been touched.
So, and I'll touch on this and Ted can fill in the blanks. With the $30 million 1% sales tax fund, what that can go towards, of course, was to fix some of the roads. I think one of the biggest issues that we've run up against is the condition of the infrastructure underneath some of the roads. Is that accurate?
Yes, so in 2020 and 2021, basically we repaved every road that we know we're not gonna touch, not gonna be able to afford to touch the utilities for 15 years. And the problem is that one block of a mill and overlay, where you take off 1.5 inches of bituminous and put it back, can cost $25,000 to $30,000 in a block. Full reconstruct with all new utilities is costing us about $875,000. So the projects get a lot smaller, whereas our projects over the last 2 years, we spent over $4 million to do, let's say, 10 or 11 blocks. And we put $3 million into 120 blocks in 20 and 21.
And the lead service line project, by combining that with the 9th Street project, that lowers the cost, theoretically.
Yes, so, and part of that is we get state funding to cover the service line. Right now, like on 5th and 6th, the reason why we picked 5th and 6th is we've already got brand new water line there. We know it's copper from the water line to the curb stand. So we have grant money that goes from the curb stand all the way into the house, 100% covered for the homeowner who owns that section of pipe. On 9th Street, we've got 4-inch cast iron, which is undersized. Now it has to be a minimum of 6-inch. By doing that water project, we get 100% grant from all the way from the main all the way into the house. So it does help offset the cost, grant-wise.
Is that 1% sales tax being used on this project?
Yes.
Or the overlay portion.
Well, it's part of the road construction is about $2 million in sales tax will be used towards this project. This project is a $9 million project.
You answered my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Certainly want to make sure for everyone here that has those types of questions that they're understood and the information's available, because we have Public Works Committee and they usually run long, especially when there's projects, because we want to know about them before we move forward. So thank you, Ted.
Thanks.
Good choice having Ted explain.
Thank you.
I see correspondence in the packet from Convention and Visitors Bureau. Reminders. We have an informational meeting on property values presented by the County Assessor's Office here in the chambers this Thursday, April 10th at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. A public hearing on capital improvement project bonds for renovation of the Public Works Equipment Garage and Sewer Vector Garage. This is Monday, April 21st of this year, 5:30 p.m. And our next regular city council meeting is Monday, April 21st at 5:30 p.m. That being said, this meeting's adjourned.
Recording stopped.